Good afternoon or morning, everyone, wherever you're logging in from. Dan Bauman here with John Schrader, and welcome to the Designers Show. Today, we're going to be talking about as-built tools and technology that you'll use in your business to do your as-builts. And both John and I have some thoughts about that we'd like to share, and hopefully that you guys can chime in and help with some of that information. So if you wouldn't mind, just what we'd really love to get from you guys today is some feedback from you. And we'd also like to know what kind of apps and technology you guys are using in your business to get your as-builts done. So by all means, use the chat feature wherever you're logging in from and let us know. We'd just really love to hear from you. So let's get started here talking about a few different things. John, you do a lot of as-builts, and you've been experimenting with different tools too. Have you found anything that is earth-shattering that you absolutely have to share with everybody?
Nothing that's within my reach.
Okay.
Other than just a regular laser distance measure and
so the reach meaning financially, right?
Financially, and enough as-built work coming in to justify the cost of it.
Sure. The money you'd have to spend on the equipment to do the as-builts the way that we're talking about. So I know there's a lot of there's a lot of different things out there. People have been developing this sort of technology for a long time now. So we're starting to get it's starting to mature a bit now. So I think we're not that far away from having some tools that we can use to actually get some really good as-built information for the projects that we're working on. Now, let me just make this a little bigger. And so part of the goal of this show today was to discuss some apps, some software, some devices that you can use that would make the as-built process go faster. Kind of the easy button that we're always looking for, the done button. It's just you push it and poof, it's done. So that's part of what we're after. And be perfectly honest, I haven't found that button yet. John, how about you?
Nope, not yet.
Okay. All right. So what I've been researching this. I got up really early today. I've been researching this all morning now for the last 6 hours and just really digging in a lot of things. And I have been now for quite a long time. And I just haven't, to be perfectly honest, I just really haven't found that magic button yet. So, but let's just talk a little bit about what's out there. And again, I'm really looking for feedback from you guys on the call. If you could just let us know what kind of things you guys are using. So we got a message from Jeff. Jeff, thanks for chiming in. Nice to see you. Yes, everything's going pretty well here in Minneapolis, other than what you're hearing in the news now. It's craziness out there. Inexperience with Canvas? No, but I'll talk about that a little bit. I did a whole bunch of research on that, so it could be promising. We'll see. And I should ask, do you have any experience with Canvas? Laptop, computer stand, 25 tape. Yep, there's your technology right there, Jeff.
Yep.
I love it. All right, so anybody else, just please let us, feel free to chime in here and let us know if you found anything that works for you, or if you have questions about things too. But let's just get started and talk about some of the stuff that I came up with. And John, I know you've been doing some research on this too.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get in here. Again, the whole goal of everything that we're talking about here is how do we get a great set of plans for the project that we're about to do, including the as-built, okay? Because the as-built is such an important part of the entire process of creating a good set of plans. If you got a crappy as-built, you're going to have a crappy set of plans. So, and I'm sure we could use all sorts of other adjectives to describe that, but that's kind of the bottom line. So we want to have a really good and accurate as-built drawing. So what I'd like to talk a little bit about today is some exterior, interior, miscellaneous apps that you can use, and some hardware too. I guess, as I was creating some of this stuff, it was like, well, what do we want to put together for this particular show? And I'm finding some things that do work with, the Revits of the world and the AutoCADs of the world, but of course, the whole goal of what we're doing is to find something that works with Chief Architect. All right. So I haven't found that magic bullet yet. So let's just take a look at this. One of the first apps that has been making headways out there. And John, have you ever used Hover?
I tried it one time, quite a few years ago.
Okay.
But my house had too many trees over it, so
Ah,
um, they came back with about twice the size that the house really was.
okay.
So,
Okay. Well, I've tried it myself too, and then what you're seeing on the screen right now is just a sample plan that that I downloaded from their website. You can go to Hover.io. That's or .to, Hover.to, and they'll take you to their website where you can actually sign up for a free account and give it a try. And then there'll also be some samples in the account that you can take a look at and see what they do. So, I didn't. Again, I don't use it. I haven't done many as-builts of late. So again, I'm back to my tried and true method of doing it, which we'll talk about later. But it's great for exteriors. However, you get zero information on the inside of the building. All right. So if you're looking for the exterior information, Hover does a pretty nice job. And what you're going to do is you're going to take pictures of each corner of your building. All right. So you're going to take 8 pictures, a corner, center, corner, center, corner, center. And then you're going to do that through the app on your phone. Okay. And when you do that through your phone, then that gets sent to Hover, and it costs money to have your different pictures processed, I guess is what we'd call that, because it doesn't happen instantly. So let's just zip over to Hover.to, and I think the pricing ranges from like 20 to $30 or $60 a building. Depends on the size of the building and all that kind of stuff. But you can see that, it does create a really nice, good, accurate, I don't know how accurate it is, but a good representation of the building that you're taking pictures of. And again, so much of it depends on the angles that you get. Are the trees in the way? Is it, you got good lighting? I don't know, John, you mentioned the one you did, you had lots of trees in the way. So it didn't work well.
So my understanding is how they're doing it. Maybe they've changed since I did it, but they're just going to something like Google Earth and getting a measurement off the roof, and then using that to go figure out what they should be inputting, what their algorithms and stuff should be inputting in here for the window sizes and
That's where I'm assuming the starting basis comes from, is from that.
Right.
I know that some of the other apps I looked at, they're not using Google Earth. They're actually using not Google, but images taken via airplane. So
okay,
they're going to be much more high quality images
Mm-hmm.
taken with more high quality cameras. So
Sure.
they're going to be, there'll be a certain level of accuracy within that. So, and I imagine, like say the algorithm, how they measure.
So if they're still doing it that way, if your house is covered by trees, so they can't get an accurate measurement on the roof, you're not going to have an accurate, sample back from them.
Right. So anyway, so it's a very promising app. Again, if you're doing exteriors, you're doing the siding and roofing, and maybe you're changing some windows or something like that. Hover's really a great app, and it can do that really well. So highly recommend it. I know a lot of contractors are using it for that type of information on a project. And let me just show you real quickly what kind of reports you get from it, because it does give you a lot of information. Let me find it real quick. Give me 1 second. And here it is. Yeah. Come on. No, that's not it. Here it is. Here it is. So here's all the reports you get from it. So you get a really nice written report of the whole project. Looks like landscapes. You get all the sizing, you get the layout of the roof. So again, I think Hover's been around 3 years, 4 years, something like that. So I know there's interaction with people that have to put all this information together and make sure that everything is correct. I have no idea what's involved in that. So, but anyway, you can see you do get a lot of information. And again, I did it on my own house, and this is not my house, but I did one, and I don't know, it didn't seem that accurate at the time. That was a couple of years ago. So it's probably gotten a lot better since then. And again, I think so much is going to depend on each building and how the information that they get that they can scan from. So, but you can go on their website and you can change out colors. You can change different siding, different materials, different roofing, different things like that. And so it really would be a nice presentation tool for those of you that are doing exterior work. So anyway, so that's Hover. Again, pricing I think is 20. It's what did they do? Where's the pricing here? Not popping up. Oh, here it is. Roof only complete. Yeah, so you're looking at 40 to 100 bucks, depending on the size of the building. So good program. Someone mentioned that they're using it, using Hover for the exterior, but can't find an app for interior.
So who was it that said that? I'm just wondering, are they using it to do an as-built exterior or just to go off their measurements and get material coverages and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I don't know. Jeff says he still likes drawing the house himself. It gives him a better understanding of how it was built. Yeah, totally agree with that. LiDAR point cloud tool for collecting all the data for as-builts. I was hoping Canvas would do something like that. We'll talk about that in a little bit, and I'll tell you what I found out. All right, so let's get back to the next app. So Hover is one of those. Matterport's one I've been hearing a lot about from different contractors too. Matterport being the program that you take and you set up a 3D camera and you set it in a room and it scans the room, and you go set it in the next room and it scans the room. And basically what it does is it stitches thousands and thousands of photos together to create a photo 3D model of your building. Plus it's also doing the digitized scanning, creating that cloud point that would create the 3D model that you'd go through. So again, I spent a fair amount of time on their website looking at the different applications for it and the things that they're developing. And it looked like it's coming a long way. And again, a lot of contractors, a lot of people are using it for just documenting the property. Okay, so Matterport.com. I was just reading that they're coming out with an app for an iPhone. The iPhone with 11, I think it is, has got a really powerful camera, and I think we're going to start seeing that with I hope we'll see it for the Android too, because the Samsung phone has a really powerful camera as well too. So I think we're going to start seeing this app. I hope we start seeing these apps available for both platforms. I don't use iPhones, so I can't test it anyway. And I'm not quite sure how it's going to work, but if you go to Matterport.com, you can take a look at some of the things that they show you. There is where did I see that before? They had they had a gallery that we could go through. Yeah, I'll let you guys do it on your own time so we can move on to some other things. But there were some galleries that you could go through and look at how it does it, how it records it. I've actually had one person send me a Matterport file once, and it was really a large file, and I managed to bring it into Chief Architect, and it was pretty cool in that I could go into it in Chief and look at the actual model. I could walk through it. I don't know if did I ever show you that, John?
No.
Okay.
I've worked with a few of them too, and I haven't ever tried to bring it into Chief, but where I see the Matterport and like Canvas being a valuable thing would be to go do the majority of your measurements the way you normally do. And then when you get back to your office and what was that measurement or what was really there or that kind of thing, you don't have to go back to the job site to check it out. You can get a reasonable measurement.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't 100% accurate, you could get a reasonable measurement off of it by having the other stuff that you already have.
Yeah, exactly. And you're going to have a really cool 3D model. You're going to have a lifelike 3D model.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that you can walk through and look at. And again, it's going to record all the detail. I've had some contractors tell me that, they've had clients that claim some damage was done to something, and they pulled up their Matterport file from when they did the as-built, and it's like, oh yeah, that was busted before we got here. So right. No problem there. So, I mean, that happens. Now with Hover, and I believe Matterport does this too, and so does Canvas, they'll send you, as part of a service, they'll send you a SketchUp file, which you can bring right into Chief. So back to Hover, there is the SketchUp file of that building. So it's, it's something. I can't measure from this because we can't do 3D measuring in Chief, but what I could do, and again, I'm not sure how valuable it is, but I could certainly bring up an elevation of the building. I could convert that to a CAD detail, and now I could measure from that. Okay, so yeah, there's some things that you could do with these different files that, again, a number of years ago that I wouldn't even, nothing like this would have been even possible. Now, if you're a SketchUp user, you could bring the model into SketchUp and measure out of that. So that'd be great if you're a SketchUp person, but I'm not. I don't intend to be, don't want to go there. I'm a Chief guy, and I want to be able to do everything in Chief Architect. So this doesn't really do me that much good. A little bit maybe, but not a ton. You see anything that gets you excited about that, John?
Only the possibility of bringing it in there, but then again, it's only as accurate as what the data they're giving you. So
yeah, exactly. So hopefully that they're accurate, their data is accurate. So anyway, Matterport's pretty cool. Now with Matterport, as well as some other programs, let's see, let me get back to, they require that you use 3D scanners. And again, as I talked, Matterport looks like they're creating an app for the iPhone, and they're creating so as well as Canvas, they're creating an app for the iPhone too, it looks like. So I'll get to that in just a minute. So with the 3D scanners, this scanner right here is the one Matterport's using. All right, that's on their website, and that one is actually, if I go to B&H, I can tell you it is $3,400. Don't know anything about it. Don't know if I can recommend it or not. I know Matterport, it's got their name on it, so I'm assuming it does what they need it to do for their software. So you set that up in a room, it scans that room. Pick it up, go scan the next room. And after watching the tutorials and things like that, I noticed that, yeah, they have an app. You go to your iPad and you step out of the room and click record, and it's going to go record that room. And it looks pretty cool. So, that's reasonable amount of money to make it work. Now, that doesn't include the Matterport service, which I never did find. I didn't look at that.
If somebody knows if they could say, but I recall it being like $40 per scan or something like that. Or maybe I'm off on that.
No, it wasn't that much.
Wasn't that much? Okay.
No. If you put a whole bunch of rooms together, or maybe that was Canvas I was thinking of. So with Matterport, they have, okay, so here's your professional package for $69 a month, and that's 25 active spaces for 5 users. All right, so I think that what that means is 25 scans. So each room would be a separate scan. So that would be the spaces that you would put together. And so that's how that works. And so if you have a building that's got 10 rooms in it, that's 10 scans. It's going to be, it's going to cost, take that out of there. And I believe they had pricing for individual scans somewhere too. And I as I'm looking at all these different things, and it's like, oh, okay. If you use it a ton, you'd probably want to do the business one where you get 100 active scans, and that's probably good for who knows how many buildings. But the scans were pretty cool. It was putting all the floors together. It was you could create the whole interior of the building. Remember, neither of these so far are going to do the exterior of your building. All right. I did find some apps that do the exterior of the building. You really don't want to know how much the scanners were for those. It was $25,000 to $75,000 for the scanners to do the exteriors of buildings. So yeah, you'd have to really do a lot of them for that. So those were pretty expensive, but it was pretty cool, some of the technology that would do. Could you take your iPhone and just scan the exterior of the building? I don't know. They didn't show me any examples of that. So one of these days it'd be cool to get, some users or some people from the Matterport company online on a call to maybe get some more information from them. So anyway, so Todd, that, for your cloud point, the Matterport camera would do those. Now, let's get back to some of the other hardware that's available out there. So there's a Leica BLK 360 and the BLK to go, which was pretty cool. I mean, the to go thing was awesome. So here's the 360. This is the one like the Matterport. You set it in a room and it scans the room and takes pictures of it. So you end up with a 3D model, photo model that you can walk through. Plus, you get a digital cloud flare of that room that can be converted to a SketchUp model. And this one was the to go, where you just walk through the building with this thing, and it's scanning as you walk. And to me, if I was going to do any of this, this is the one I would go with, because I thought that was one of the coolest things out there, because it did the whole building, room to room to room to room. You didn't have to stop and set up your machine and then put all the rooms together. It just did the whole thing.
You carry your phone or an iPad or something like that with you, and it's showing you as you're walking what it's filling in.
Right.
Which was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That was very cool. So what you might go ahead.
So with that tool, you'd be able to see hidden spaces within the house as you're walking through it.
True.
Like a wall that's thicker than another or anything like that.
True. Because it's going to put, that room together with that room and scan it correctly. So it sounded like they had a pretty good accuracy percentage of 0 to 2% accuracy or something like that, or not zero, not accuracy, but error. So I don't know. It's pretty interesting. Now, the trouble with that is that in the BLK 360, I believe. Let me see. I think I had a link to that. Hold on to your chair. Yeah. So that one was 18.5 for the 360. They didn't have the to go one on their website.
Plus software. Plus software.
Well, yeah, this is just the hardware. Yeah.
Right.
Then you got to buy the service too, and you got to buy the stand, and you got to buy this and that. So probably plan on spending 22 to 25,000 to have the whole setup. And then you're going to have an annual fee that you're going to have to, once you own the hardware, that's one thing, but then you're going to have the annual software to use the software, the fee. I didn't do much research on this BLK 3D. I'm not quite sure what that did. It looked like a 3D camera, a lot more like the size of a phone that you would walk through.
I did a little bit on that. It's
okay.
It's a camera plus a laser measuring tool. So you can go in and walk around a room with it. Take your measurements like you would with a normal laser, and it will sketch out the room. And then you take pictures of it, and it'll show you in the room where you took that picture from.
Yeah.
And then I think you can go measure off of it after you've done that, if I remember right.
So anyway, cool technology. The to-go one was 19,000 or 19.5, something like that. So it wasn't a ton more than this one. And I think the to-go one is newer because it's not on the Leica websites, not in their store yet, but I did manage to find a little information about it. So, don't quote me on any of that. I don't know for sure, but again,
the price I saw on the to-go one was 75,000.
Okay, that's different than what I found. So, okay. Well, you might want to call Leica before you decide to go too far with that.
Yeah. But that to-go one would be slick.
Again, that
your
was
budget, and you're doing enough as-built, that would be the way to go right there.
Yeah. I can't see it would be that much more than this one.
I don't know.
Software that's doing all the work. I don't know. It'd be worth checking into. I don't think we need to spend much more time on this because probably most of the guys on this call aren't interested in spending that much money anyway. So the whole goal is to find something less expensive that we can use, and it'll ultimately get the information we need into Chief Architect. So canvas.io by Occipital HQ has great promise. This one, of all of the ones I looked at so far, you can get into it for $500 plus the price of an iPad Pro. I don't think you need a Pro, but I think it's recommended. I think it was the other one you needed an iPad Pro. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to go through the rooms with your iPad. Let me go find an image of that. Oh, here's the Matterport one where you could go in and measure the items. You could, yeah, here's where you could walk through and look at things. So this is a scanned image. This is a 3D scan of a building. And the detail is phenomenal. I mean, it really, really does a cool job. And this all converts into a cloud point cloud that you can get all the math from, the dimensions from. But again, you really can't do that in Chief. You have to do it through their system. Or you could just go in here and use their ruler and measure things by clicking on the two different points. Why can't I snap to that? Whatever. Okay. So you're going to be doing it like this anyway. And I don't know why it wants to jump. So yes, we could get our dimensions from that, but I could do the same thing just by going to the job site and using my thing and drawing it right there. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. So Canvas.io, the thing I liked about that was, again, when you go into your project, you're just going to hold it up and you're going to scan the room like this guy's doing right here. And it's going to show you on the screen what's been scanned. And then you'll be able to use their system and they can convert this to a SketchUp model, much like the Matterport, that you could open in SketchUp, or you could bring in the CAD file into Chief. Although the samples I downloaded, again, it was just a SketchUp model, so it didn't do me much good. So it looks promising. The thing I was really intrigued with the Canvas system was this little item right here, which is the, let me get to that, canvas.io/next. Oops, did I put the wrong, let me go here. I must have put the wrong link there. So it's a canvas.io/next. And so it's time to share our vision on our next big thing. And what it's going to be is the ability to do it without their device. You're just going to do it on a smartphone. So you're going to go into the room. Let me just play this video here, and you should be able to see this. So you're going to walk through the room and just start doing, just scan the whole room with your camera, and you're going to create your 3D Cloudflare like that. And so you're going to be able to do it a room at a time. I don't think you can go from room to room to room to room all at once. But, if you're in a room with a lot of stuff going on, that could be really handy. And looks like there you go. So then you can measure from that, and much like the Matterport. So for a ton less money, using the hardware you already own, which is a phone, bam.
Todd says it's not a point cloud, so it's just going off the image.
So you're just going off the image. Okay.
Yeah. Then he says it uses an infrared beam to convert distances to create a triangulated mesh.
Okay. So that's okay. So there's Todd. All right. So Todd,
mesh, not a mess. It's a mesh.
You create a mess. Yeah, we already got a mess going on here. So, so Todd, is this from the phone one or from the actual device that you put on your iPad that you've been using that? So let us know how you've been using that, if you've been using that a long time, and how you're finding it. Does it work for you? Are you getting the information that you need to be able to create a plan within Chief Architect? So again, that is the bottom line of what we're looking for here. So that's a little bit about Canvas, and Todd, by all means, please chime in there if you got a few minutes. I'd love to find out more about that. In fact, if anybody here is able to talk about this, I'd love to put you on the call. I'd have to send you a little link that you'd have to click on. So those are some of the different things that I've looked at. There's a ton of other little apps out there that I look at them and it's like, worthless, worthless, worthless. Okay, so you're using the device on an iPad. So again, the device for the iPad was, I think, $500, $499, something like that. At least that's what I saw on their website. I don't know if that's the standard price or not, but so it's reasonably priced. And if you got an iPad, you're going to get that information. So Todd, were you able to get the information you're getting from that? Is it helpful for you to create your plan in Chief Architect? Does it do what you're looking to do? And you get do you get the information instantly? You don't have to send it in or anything like that. Again, I did notice on the Canvas website that they do have an option for I think it was $15 a space per room, or okay, $29 per scan. And again, I think that was per room, but I think if you had a bunch of them, it was a lot less, where they could convert that to a SketchUp type model. Again, doesn't do you much good in Chief Architect. So, and so it's something to get you there. So let's just talk about that a little bit, about some of these things, because again, we're always out there looking for that answer to make doing our as-builts a lot easier. And I'm here to tell you today, I haven't found it. I found inklings that it's getting better and it's getting closer. And I know Chief Architect had their app that they were working on, that you could go measure rooms on their room planner app, and you draw it with your finger and you'd try to do this and that. And it was really worthless. That's probably why they discontinued it about a year ago. John, did you ever try that app?
I did for a little bit, but like it wasn't accurate enough. Couldn't change the wall thicknesses and stuff that I recall.
Yeah, I really found it to be, I struggled to get a room drawn a lot. It reminded me of the old days when I tried to learn AutoCAD. It was, nothing made sense because it was just, you're trying to go by their rules way too much. So I just, it didn't do much for me. So back to this, app thing again. If you guys, again, if you found anything too that worked for you guys, please chime in here and let us know. Now, the other thing I started looking at, and I didn't get very far into it, and that was measuring pictures. And I was starting to Google up some information about, is there any software out there where you could open a picture and just draw dimensions on it to get your dimensions? And there are a few apps out there like that. I didn't have much success with that. I can do the same thing in Chief Architect. I can bring in a drawing, scale it full size, and measure off it. As long as I've got a straight on image, that works just fine.
Yeah, I did that the other day, Dan, and I did a really accurate straight on, got a really accurate, length to length, went in and scaled it. And because of the angles that you're doing, the closer you get to the center, if you take, you take a full width, the closer you get to the center, you're getting off.
Yeah.
Unless you go in and do the math to figure out what it would be.
Yeah. If you scale it both ways, sometimes that helps.
Okay.
Okay. So what I mean by that is when you bring a picture in, let me see, do I have something available here? And let me grab this one. So if I bring a picture in, and you see it's skewed a little bit. Okay. So I would, if I really needed to use that picture, I would take it into a Photoshop program or something like that, and I would make sure that this was straight and this was straight. Okay, it's called I can't remember what it's called. It's called skewing or something like that, where you're going to take the picture and you're going to pull the corners out of the you're going to pull the corners out and you're going to straighten these edges up. If you do that, you absolutely have to do each dimension separately. So you have to have a height and a width. That's key, because by stretching the picture, I'm changing the height. So in order to get it accurate in Chief, you would have to do that. So what I would do then is, in this case, so let's say that's 30 feet wide here. Okay. So I would start by going like this. I would click on the two bottom points here, and I would say that's 30 feet. Okay. And I'm going to leave the retain aspect ratio checked. All right. And then, so that's going to make it full size. But now what I would do is, again, had I skewed that picture in a photo program, I would take this and I would then do the height separately. All right. And then I would uncheck this, and, that's only, that's 220 inches. And then it would see how it stretched it up, but it didn't change the width. That's going to help to make your picture a lot more accurate. So, so that's something to keep in mind too. But yeah, I know it's not always easy to get straight on images that you would take pictures of. But again, as I showed in our last episode, where I think it was the last one, where I had a picture that I had straightened out, and how I drew the boxes on it and all that, so that you could do that. It does work quite well. Again, sometimes you just need a kind of a, for the one I showed, we're putting a deck on, so I just wanted a close representation of that side of the house.
Right.
So it worked fine just to do that in Chief. Took me 20 minutes, and bam, I had all the information I needed. So something to keep in mind there. Okay, where was I going with this? I was going to talk about, okay, back to our little presentation here. So Canvas IO, again, looks like it's on the right track. For those of you that maybe do landscaping, or you do maintenance, driveways and things like that, or you mow lawns, this is really a nice app. GoIlawn.com, and you get really good high-res images, and this might be kind of handy because you're going to get a lot better resolution on the images than you get from Google Earth. But it's going to cost you to do that. But you can go into their app and you can actually measure and draw on the app, just like they've done here. And it's going to do an estimate for a takeoff of all the things that you're measuring. So if you're doing a lot of land work and stuff like that, this could be a really handy app for you too. GoIlawn.com. So something to check out there. Again, with all of these apps, if you just go Google, if you just go into GoIlawn on YouTube, you go to Occipital HQ on YouTube, you'll find videos about that. Go to Leica BLK to go 360, you get information on that.
I did a little bit more checking on that BLK to go, and you were right. It's like 19,000 is the price that I found.
Yeah, that you could work with a lot more than 75,000.
Yeah, I don't know what it was I was saying before, and this was about a month ago that I started looking at. So
okay,
who knows? Maybe the price came way down.
maybe next week it'll be 12,000, and the week after that 6.
Maybe.
You can only hope, right?
All
right. So your laser meters. So back to some technology. Okay, the tools that we use. So Leica has a really nice variety of laser meters that you can use to measure projects with. Do you need, the super duper high end $1,500 Leica, or the $99 Leica, or one in between? I mean, which one do you use, John?
If I've borrowed your 3X, I think it is the one you have. But if I were going to want to use it outside, I would definitely go up to the model that would give me the photo, the camera shot, so I can see where I'm shooting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, here's that one that you were talking about, the 3X. So
we can't see it, Dan. You got your screen up.
I did have my screen up. Let me go like this. So there we go. But that's the one that I have. Yeah. And
that's a nice laser measure. It'll store a whole bunch of dimensions, so you don't have to. You can walk around the room and get a bunch of dimensions, and then go back to your computer and put them in. So
do you use a Bluetooth on it when you do that?
I didn't. I haven't done that yet. No.
Yeah. You could set it up to use your Bluetooth to just bring up the dimension and hit a button somewhere, I think, and it pops it in, or you just type it in. I guess it depends on how techy you are. So that's the X3, which isn't even listed here. Why isn't that listed here?
It's like a $239 one, I think, or something like that.
Okay. Why isn't that listed here? This is an old page I captured. This one up here, when you get into the more spendy ones like this, These are going to have a ton more features. If you look at
your screen, want to show your screen?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. So again, when you get into the spendier ones like this one right here, which is $1,500, or even this one, which is the 810 touch, both of these will do dimensions at an angle. So if you do a point down here and a point up here, it'll tell you that height like that. So that's another way you can measure things.
I think it's the 910 has some pretty good extra capabilities up from the 810. I don't remember exactly what they all were, but
okay. Melissa said that she measured a house with my 3X with Bluetooth last week, and it was amazing. I think it was at least twice as fast. Yeah, isn't it amazing how much time these little buggers can save you? I mean, they really, really save.
What did you, Melissa? What did you come from? Were you just using a tape measure before, or were you using a different laser measure without the Bluetooth? So we'll see if she responds.
Yeah. So again, depending on what you know, even if you just have a basic one, whatever you do, if you're going to go measure a building, you have to use some form of a laser meter. It will save you a ton of time. I mean, basically, you're going to have all the equipment that you need anyway. Oops, I guess I took all that off of here. Where to go here? So with me, it was always the my laser meter, my tape, my camera, which I take a lot of pictures. I'd have 100-foot tape that I'd use if I needed some really long ones, and I couldn't get my laser meter to work. So, all right. So to me,
and you mentioned your camera. Can you give us that app that you found recently about sorting through your pictures? Because that's a huge time saver.
When you speak of little apps that you're going to use to save time, I love this little thing. It's called the Fast Stone Image Viewer. Fast Stone. So if we go look at the help, go to the About page, and it's actually, let's go to their homepage. It's a free app that you can use. It's I'm going to go pay them, I think, $30 for a lifetime license, just because I like it so much. I use it all the time. I want to support them. But it's just for viewing pictures in different files on your computer, and you can do all sorts of different things with it. And I found this a couple of weeks ago as I was searching for different apps about this topic, and I used to have an app like this in my ULEAD photo editing software, which got discontinued because it got bought out by a different company. And so here it is again. So you just kind of click through, and what you could do, let me get to a folder here. So I'm going to go to my Dropbox, and I'll go to, so, I take a ton of pictures, whether they're project pictures or whether they're whatever pictures that you do, but I've always taken a lot of pictures. And so I could go through here, and so now I can start looking at these pictures as thumbnails like this. So if I make this full screen here, and again, I don't know if this works on a Mac or not. Not sure. This is Coeur d'Alene a few years ago. So now I could just I could scroll through each picture and see the big picture here, which I don't know, Windows got rid of their ability to do this kind of stuff. And this is really nice. It's just really fast too. Just quicker than it really Windows works. So you can just really go through the stuff quickly. And anyway, it's again, faststone.com.
Melissa did respond. She said that she had a Bosch laser before, and the Bluetooth function made a huge difference.
Oh, okay. So she did use the Bluetooth, and she really liked it. Okay. So Doug's got the
910.
Yeah, let's see here. Model how to capture roof measurements, for example. Oh, okay. So you're using it that way where you're taking the angular pictures. That's nice. That's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
So that's at 9. That's the which one was that? That's the good one.
The more expensive one,
the super duper one.
$1,500 one without the tripod and everything. So
yeah.
And again, in order for those picture ones to work, I'm pretty sure you'd have to have a tripod to set it on to get an accurate measurement.
Yeah, you can't just hold it and expect
Right.
it to do what you want it to do.
Right.
So I know I had pictures from what's his faces, but Dave's. But well, Melissa said I had a simple Bosch laser. Bluetooth function made a huge difference. Okay. Get a port. Yeah, get your portable laptop stand. That's the stand that I use right here. And
yeah, and just get that one. I bought a cheaper one just to see what it was like, and it wasn't worth it.
No,
it's not going to be sturdy enough to do the job. So
for for less than $200, you get the Ultra. Get the Ultra stand with the large table. It's 16 by 24, I believe. It's a really large, heavy. It's really a nice heavy duty table. It's not heavy. It's just heavy duty. And get the carrying case that goes with it, and you'll be really glad you did. The table and the stand they're each in a separate carrying case, and it really does a nice job. So, all right. So let's. I don't have a ton more I want to talk about at this point. How about you, John? You got anything you want to add at this?
I think we pretty much covered what I was thinking about today.
Yeah. So back to the magic bullet of, how do we get a great set of plans and how do we get our as-builts done? I don't think there is a magic bullet yet. I think the magic bullet is simply charging enough to do your as-built plans. So you can charge enough so you can allow the time it takes to do a good set of as-built plans, whether you go out and do it or you hire someone to go out and do it for you, and they're going to do a good job. Ultimately, you're going to draw it on site into Chief Architect using a setup like this. So when I leave the project, I might be there in 3, 4, 5, sometimes the whole day, hours. I mean, just whatever it takes to get the building drawn. As long as you're getting paid for it, you could do that, and you can afford to do a really awesome job on getting that plan done. And I know, John, you've been working a lot with your daughter.
Yeah. It still has a way to go before we have that system perfected.
Yeah.
It has more to do with the guy that's in the field taking the measurements than the person sitting in the office, though.
Okay. I have had people with me on site measuring projects, and that really works well too. You can really blast through a project pretty quickly, and it's not so boring. Measuring a building can be really boring, I tell you, but it's really necessary.
Yeah, and if you have staff under you, take a different staff person each time, especially if they haven't done it before.
Yeah, I mean, you get someone to get out there with the laser meter, and they're giving you dimensions for the rooms and the ceiling heights and all the different things, this window to here and the size of the window. They get their tape measure out and measure it, or however it takes. And as you get better with Chief, you can just, go measure that, and boom, by 5 minutes, you're out of a room, you're into the next room. And it just really does make a big difference. And I really enjoy measuring with someone on site. On the other hand, if you don't have someone, it's going to take a little longer, but just plan for that. But you're going to really get to learn the building in a big way, because you're poking around in each room and you're really examining things, and you're really going to get a good sense of the building. And that's another thing you're not going to get from the scanning tools that you've seen out there. You're not going to get that ability to really understand the building and the people in the building and how they live, and what things to look out for. So that's one of the benefits, I think, of measuring on site that I found that really worked well for me.
Right. And it kind of depends on what you're there to measure it for too. If you're just measuring it for someone else to give it to them, your thoughts and stuff about walking through how the people live in the house and stuff aren't going to be as valuable as if you're the designer finishing it, from start to finish,
I've done projects where, I've been in the kitchen, they're going to redo their kitchen. So I would measure the cabinets. And part of the reason I would do that, so I could look in the cabinets and see, they've got these pots and pans here, and they have these nice silverware. So I'd get an idea of the things that they're using now that, we probably want to take it, bring some of that into the new project. So it helped me become more aware of what kind of things that I wanted to make sure to get into the plan or at least ask questions about as I'm designing the project. So that really did help quite a bit too.
Doug wants to know what the link to the tripod stand is again.
The link to the tripod stand is laptoptripods.com. I probably sold a lot of these for them, and I don't get paid.
Yeah.
I recommend this.
I wonder how many you might have sold over the years.
I don't know, but I've been recommending this one for a long time. It's really, really a nice product. It's the one I use in all my classes. You know, whenever we go do a live class together, and I set up in the back of the room, and it's just nice. You can set it at the exact height you want it to be at, and it's a really nice tool.
Right.
So speaking of that, let me show you something, John. Fun. I've been working on the blog.
Yeah.
Good old blog. Yeah. I put in some video and pictures from our Philadelphia show or class.
Okay.
Training class in Philly. So there again, speaking of that, so there I am sitting at my laptop.
You need to share your screen.
Oh, for Pete's sake. I'm so used to doing webinars where I've always got the screen up that I forget to do this. But so there I am at the laptop stand there, and you know, I like to sit in the back of the room so I can kind of keep an eye on what everybody's doing on their computers. So
yeah,
you know, formulate the class that way. And I remember that show, we got to go pack our bags, and we flew first class on that back when we could fly. Yeah, setting up the room and yeah, that was a nice class.
It was.
And, yeah, there's Paul's assistant, and yeah, so lunch. We got to see Valley Forge State Park. Yeah. Hopefully, again, one of these days soon. We'll be back to doing this. All right, so
yeah, I miss doing trainings in person. It's a lot of fun.
It is fun to be with everybody. All right, so guys, got any questions out there?
I just got a quick comment. I think one of the biggest things to do the job accurately, to go out and do an as-built, is developing a system. You know, like what are you going to do first? You know, and that kind of thing, and do it the same way every time, and maybe even have a checklist to go through and say, yes, I got that dimension, I got that.
Yeah, that's a good point, and I think I covered some of that. I covered some of that a couple of weeks ago. Or no, I covered some of that last week, I believe. Some of the different steps that you want to go through. This is our third week of doing as-builts. This will be the last one now about as-builts. The first week we talked about being able to do things from your desk, you know, without having you visited the site yet. I think we covered a few good things there. And then last week we talked about going to the job site and things you do on site to measure the project all manually. Again, this is kind of the bottom line of what we come up with here today is the things you're going to do on the site manually.
Right.
And so I think we covered some of that checklist stuff then. But you're right. Yeah, having a good checklist of things that you want to make sure you cover is a really good idea.
And that doesn't matter how you do it. Any way you do it, you're going to want to have a system and a checklist to make sure you get it covered. Because the hardest thing of doing the thing is if you have to go back and get another measurement or a picture or something.
Yeah.
It just takes all the fun out of it.
You don't like driving around going back to jobs?
I don't mind driving around. I don't like going back to a job.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, so I think we're done with comments. All right, you guys. I think we might just end a little early here today. Let you guys get back to work. Make sure you head over to Chief Experts Academy and get the free report on how you can and should charge more for your plans. It is a PDF I put together, and of all the years I've been doing this and the reasons that you need to get paid for all this work you do when you do these plans. You know, it needs to be a profit center of your business. And I'd love to hear your feedback about that by all means. So go download it and check it out. So the other thing I want you to do, be aware of is we have the Pro Academy over at Chief Experts. It's where you can log on. There's about 40 different Chief Architect videos there now that you can access, all different topics that you can get into. And we will be starting a mastering course coming up very soon. So it's just about ready to get started with that. And lastly, again, I want to thank you for attending, but and if you're on YouTube or if you're on our website, click on the bottom of the video and you can go to YouTube, and I'd really love it if you would subscribe to our channel or and give us a good thumbs up, like on YouTube. And same thing, I don't know if Facebook does that too or not, but would love to hear from you and leave some comments. Let us know what you thought about this, topics that you would like to get. And yeah, by all means. Okay, looks, we've got a few more comments that I'll go through. Looks like the templates have 4 exterior elevations on it. Template I have there, it just has 4 cameras that are ready to go. There's not actually 4 elevations in it. Tripod wants this for shipping around Canada.
Doug's in Canada, so
141 total, or is that just the shipping? I hope that's not just the shipping. The one thing I don't like about the laptop tripod, you got to bite your tongue and swallow hard, is they charge you a freaking fortune for the shipping. I didn't think they would charge that much to ship. The product doesn't even cost that much to Canada. So right. If that's what they're charging, you might want to call them, see if you can find a better way to get it for not so much money. That's ridiculous.
Right. Or if you're close enough to the border, call somebody across and they can just throw it.
Call you, John. You're right next to the border.
Yeah.
Where did I get such a nice haircut? I had one in January, I think. I got one scheduled for next Wednesday.
I'm coming down. I'll take care of it for you.
Yeah, I bet you would bring your hedge clipper with them. Yeah.
Yeah. Doug says that's just for the shipping, $143.
Oh, ouch, man. Yeah, you should give them a call, see if they could do something. That's ridiculous. They can't spend that much. Although, if you don't have a choice, it's worth it, man. Once you have the thing, you'll have it. That's the thing.
I wonder if Amazon Prime would give you any benefit.
I haven't seen this product on Amazon, so I don't know. So anyway, so again, thanks for attending, everyone. And again, please sure to visit us at Chief Experts Academy and subscribe and like us on YouTube and leave some comments, and we'd love to hear from you. So everyone, take care, stay safe, stay busy. I know there's lots going on out there. John, you got anything you want to add to that?
No, I think same thing. Just everybody stay safe and just to get out there and enjoy the outdoors.
Yeah. That's as long as you're not in a big crowd, that's not a bad thing to do. It's actually a great thing to do these days. So cool. All right, everyone. Thanks. Take care, and we'll see you next time. This is Dan and John signing off from the Designer Show. I also want to say the Builder Show, the Designer Show. Thanks again for watching. Bye, everyone.